Hello everybody and welcome back to more Dragon Age Origins. I'm the Wayfaring Pilgrim. When we last left off, we had a pretty long session. We started off by having a chat with everyone around camp like we always do. With everyone's approval getting quite high now, we are starting to unlock more key conversations and personal quests. Speaking of which, there was a little bit of romance. My Dalish elf, Lina Mahariel, has decided to pursue a relationship with the young bard Liliana, which I unfortunately had to end off screen. Now the reason for that is in order to complete Liliana's romance, you need to do her personal quest. And in order to do her personal quest, you need to engage in a piece of dialogue with her before starting the relationship. So I ended the relationship off screen, that lowered her approval a little bit, and we can now engage in that piece of dialogue, do her personal quest, and then rekindle the romance later. So it is still on. After having a chat with everyone though, we tackled the next bit of DLC, Return to Ostagar, which was a difficult bit of DLC. We found some cool stuff though, Kaelin's armour, which I can give to Alistair when his strength is high enough, Marik's blade, some fire resistant stuff for the dog, repeater gloves, which are good for Lele, allowing rapid aim with her bow, Duncan's sword and dagger, I'm wielding the dagger and Alistair is wielding the sword, and a cool hammer as well, the Nug Crusher. And what we're going to do in this session is we're going to make our way to Denerim. I know at the end of last session I said that we were going to go and see the elves, but I think Denerim is a better option in terms of gathering quests, getting resources, and sorting out our carry weight problem. So without further ado, let's get this session started. And that was a long intro, but there was a lot to cover. So we'll have a chat with everyone first, as we always do. Win?
What's on your mind?
Why did the spirit choose to help you?
I have always had an affinity for the spirits of the Fade. As a child, I never feared my dreams because I knew they were there.
What about demons?
I could sense the demons, too, and their presence frightened me. It was the kindly spirits of the Fade that took the fear from me. I've always been able to feel the spirits, even if I never saw them. And as I nurtured my talent in the circle, I became more sensitive. I began to notice every time I was in the Fade, whether it was in a dream or in magical practice, that I was being watched.
Are you sure it wasn't evil?
It did not feel evil. I never feared it. In fact, it infused me with soft, strange warmth I never felt before. Sometimes I would see it, a glowing, nebulous form. Most times I would just feel its presence, gentle and comforting, but somehow alien. I think it is a spirit of faith. They have never been seen before, and perhaps I am wrong. But something tells me I'm not. It always felt like the same entity. This one spirit was curious about me and was guarding me, for want of a better word.
Well, aren't you special?
There were times when I was in the Fade that it seemed to stretch forth to shield me, keeping me safe. And I think it gave me strength in my most terrible battles, Ostagar being one of them.
And also in your fight with Petra's demon.
I don't know why I was chosen. Perhaps it knew that there was something more that lay in store for me. I like to think that I was given a rare chance, and I'm going to make the best of the time so generously given to me.
I'm glad that you think travelling with me is worthy of your time.
I will not lie motionless in a bed with coverlets up to my chin, waiting for death to claim me. That is not the death for me. And so I will fight alongside the Grey Warden, and help prepare her for the task that is yet before her. So you had better listen to me. Because I swear, if I should fall before the end and you don't seem to be doing things properly, I'll get up again to give you a good finger-wagging.
I'll hold you to that.
You know, I think you'll be all right, even without my help.
Why, thank you, Win. You're very useful. You're a very useful companion to have in my party. Lele?
Something I can help with?
I'd like to talk about something.
Yes? What's on your mind?
So this is the piece of dialogue you need to have with her. I heard that in Orlais, minstrels are often spies.
Where did you hear this?
I don't remember.
Not all minstrels are spies. Most are just singers and storytellers. But some of them are what we call bards.
And the bards are spies?
Bards are minstrels and more. Spies, as you say. Some say there is a bard order, but I don't think this is true. Many bards work alone or in small groups, doing the bidding of a patron who pays for their services. If there is an organization behind it all, no one knows who they are.
Do they spy on Ferelden?
Some do. Mostly, it is nobles spying on other nobles. In Orlais, there is much rivalry amongst the highborn. They fight over land, influence, and the favor of the Empress. But they cannot do this openly because it is impolite, and in public, they wear smiling faces and pretend to be civil. In secret, they plot and scheme to destroy each other. It is a game completely meaningless to anyone but its players.
You were a bard, weren't you?
I have revealed too much, it seems, but it doesn't matter what I used to be. It is the past.
But why were you living as a cloistered sister in rural Ferelden?
I found myself in Ferelden and sheltered from bad weather in the Chantry. And when the storm passed, I just did not want to leave. I like to see the Maker brought me here.
Fair enough. And now we've got Major Cunning, which is pretty good. Alistair?
Something on your mind?
I have questions.
Of course.
What changes about you after the joining?
You mean other than becoming a Grey Warden?
You've been a warden longer than I have.
You know, I asked Duncan this too, and all I got was, "You'll see."
What, he wouldn't tell you?
Oh, it's not that Duncan wants to keep it a secret, it's just that the Grey Wardens don't discuss it much. I gather it's not a pleasant topic. The first change I noticed was an increase in appetite. I used to get up in the middle of the night and raid the castle larder. I thought I was starving. I'd slurp down every dinner like it was my last. My face all covered in gravy. When I'd look up, the other Grey Wardens would stare, then laugh themselves to tears.
Maybe you were just a pig.
That's me, Alistair the pig. I can go through a trough in 5 seconds flat, just you watch. Oh, and then there were the nightmares. Duncan said it was part of how we sense the Darkspawn. We tap into their, well, I don't know what you call it, their group mind. And when we sleep, it's even worse. You learn to block it out after a while, but at first it's hard. It's supposed to be worse for those who join during a blight. How is it for you?
Nightmares. Yes, I know what you mean.
Some people never have much trouble, but that's rare. Others have trouble sleeping their entire life. They're just more sensitive, I suppose. Everyone ends up the same, though. Once you reach a certain age, the real nightmares come. That's how a Grey Warden knows his time has come.
His time has come?
Oh, that's right. We never had time to tell you that part, did we? Well, in addition to all the other wonderful things about being a Grey Warden, you don't need to worry about dying from old age. You've got 30 years to live, give or take. The taint, it's a death sentence. Ultimately, your body won't be able to take it. When the time comes, most Grey Wardens go to Orzammar and die in battle rather than waiting. It's tradition.
Why Orzammar?
You'll always find Darkspawn down where the dwarves are. The oldest Grey Wardens head to the deep roads for one last glorious battle. Not that there's a shortage of Darkspawn during a blight, but that's the tradition. The dwarves respect us for it. And you wondered why we kept the joining a secret from the new recruits. Well, there you have it.
It seems like a high price to pay.
I suppose it is. We're the only ones who can stop the blight, however. Is there a price too high to pay for that? You know, Duncan, he started having the nightmares again. He told me that in private. He said it wouldn't be long before he'd go to Orzammar himself. I guess he got what he wanted. I just wish it had been something worthy of him.
He will be remembered, Alistair, as will the others.
I know. Ending the blight should make this all worthwhile, right?
Exactly, and we've got Major Constitution. Awesome. Sten?
You called.
I have questions.
I am hardly surprised.
And we've already asked that, so never mind.
Very well.
Let's go.
As you wish.
Shale? You're still with me, I see.
Yes, its adventures are interesting, even if the chances for success are remarkably slim. It would be better to throw oneself off a cliff, I suspect. Does it wish me to leave? I can, though I see no reason to go.
No, stay. You're quite helpful.
No doubt. Without me, it would have to carry its inventory on its own. Perhaps we should continue. Its chances of success are small enough without further dawdling.
I would have expected golems to be different.
Different? Different than what? Different than a statue? Different than a log? Should I talk in a monotone? Yes, Master, I exist to serve the Master. I shall kill for the Master and only for the Master. Perhaps it expected me to have a booming voice. Recite limericks. I can recite limericks, if it likes.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
I have never met another golem. I have no idea what one might be like, or why I wouldn't be like them. Why? Has it met other golems? Did they not sound as I do?
You just seem very animated.
I don't know what other golems might be like, but I am already superior by virtue of my free will. This is a good thing.
I agree. Being a golem would be handy.
Imagine the benefits. No need to eat or sleep or perform other functions. Walk underwater, crush the heads of every opponent. The possibilities are limitless. Barring the occasional 30 years or so of paralysis, there's little to compare. Now stop talking so much. The wagging of its moist little tongue is distracting.
Getting that sweet, sweet approval. Morrigan?
I await your command.
I'd like to ask you something.
So, full of questions, are you?
Nothing there. She can't train us to be a shape changer. Zevran.
Here I am.
Can you teach others to be an assassin?
Oh, I certainly could, but I won't. I swore to the crows that the things they taught me were to remain a secret. And while, yes, they are already angry at me, I'd rather not push things, you see.
You don't think it's important?
You need to learn the arts of the crows in order to slay Darkspawn, do you? You seem to be doing fine as it is. If you are truly insistent, well, let me think about it. The crows are already angry at me, yes? Who knows?
Okay.
Here I am.
Care to answer some questions?
Oh, this should be good. Go ahead.
So, do you enjoy being an assassin?
And why not? There are many things to enjoy about being a crow in Antiva. You are respected, you are feared, the authorities go out of their way to overlook your trespasses, even the rewards are nothing to turn your nose up at. As for the killing part, well, some people simply need assassinating. Or do you disagree?
You've never killed an innocent?
Now there's an interesting word, innocent. How many men do you know who can claim to be truly innocent? But if you're talking generalities, such as children and relatives and bystanders and such, never on purpose. But it happens. It's unfortunate, but death comes to us all. If not me, then some wasting disease, or a fall down the stairs, or at the hands of a darkspawn. It's all relative in the end.
That's a very practical attitude.
Death happens, as we like to say. And when I get paid for it, death happens more often. As far as enjoying the act of killing itself, why not? There is a certain artistry to the deed. The pleasure of sinking your blade into their flesh and knowing that their life is in your hands.
I take no pleasure in killing.
It is not pleasure, per se. Nothing sexual. It is more a sense of satisfaction. A feeling of power. Does that make sense? No matter. There are many things I did not enjoy about being a crow, of course. Having no choice, being treated as an expendable commodity, the rules. Oh, so many rules. But simply being an assassin, I like it just fine. I will continue to do it if I can, even if I am not a crow. Honestly, could you picture me doing something else?
Don't you have any other skills?
None that I wouldn't get into trouble for performing publicly. Of course, all these thoughts are moot. Chances are still good that you and I will perish, eaten by darkspawn or slain by the crows at some point. Very gruesomely, I imagine. But it is pleasant enough to chat about. Come, let's move on while our boots still have some wear in them.
And he disapproves again. I can never get the conversation right with Severin. Puppy. Trying to find a way through the earth, are we? It's going to take some time, you know. Well, good luck with that then. Okay, cool.